A man in New York State arrested in connection to the missing 16-year-old girl from Coleraine Township we've been telling you about for the last week. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Cherie Pallello.
Yeah, dramatic new developments tonight. I'm Mike Dardis. Madison Fields, last seen 2 weeks ago. Tonight, federal investigators say 43-year-old Kyle Lawrence from the Buffalo, New York area admits now to driving to see Madison 2 times in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. So the 43-year-old Lawrence.
So we have a 16-year-old girl, Madison Fields. She is still missing. I did a prior video on her. It was about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And she is still missing. There is a guy who was arrested, who was the last person seen with her, a grown man. We're going to get into him. And I guess he's not telling the authorities where she could be at, or he's acting like he doesn't know where she's at. This is Fugitive TV. Stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, where we take a look at cases and we take a look at them from a different perspective. Because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I did it for 15 years before I turned myself in. I lived in different countries under different names. And now what I do is I try and help other people either find missing individuals or try to find wanted criminals, or try to just put a different perspective on a case that maybe some people don't see because they haven't been on the other side of the wall, as you can say. Well, we're going to get into Madison Fields. Madison Fields is a 16-year-old that's missing from a town that's right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. I did a prior video on her before, okay? She met up with somebody off a line called, or I should say an app called Sessions, okay? Sessions is an encrypted app. It's an app basically where you can like hide your messages. It's similar to Snapchat. You can like hide your messages. They can disappear, things like that. Well, supposedly she met up with a person using the app Sessions. Now that was the initial report. Her father found out and then he put the missing report out on her. Now, the person she met up with gave a fake name. And I told you guys it was a fake name from the start. I said whoever this male was, he has used Sessions before, and he's probably invited her, you know, to the, I should say to that app, okay? Because a lot of people don't even know about this app. A lot of criminals will use this when it comes to, let's say, drug deals or doing anything that the messages need to be encrypted and you can't find again, all right? So a lot of people who do criminal activity, they'll use an app like Sessions. So I even said a 16-year-old using Sessions, she probably was introduced to it by him. I'm pretty sure he said, hey, let's start using this app. Well, he lied about his age. He lied about his name, everything. At first, I think he said, if I remember correctly, he said he was like 18 or something, but come to find out, I think Madison's sister said he might be older. I have to go back into the notes on that one, but he lied about everything because the name wasn't even the name that they were looking for at the first place, which I already knew that this was not the person's name. I think they said Justin or Josh, and I was like, no, it's not the person's name. Especially if you're using Sessions, it's totally, everything's fake. Well, they were staying at the Red Roof Inn, Madison and her family. Red Roof Inn is like a weekly stay. You can also stay one night. Some of these places will have not just a hotel room, but they will have like a 1-bedroom efficiency is what they call it, where it's already furnished. You got the 1 bedroom and then you got the kitchen kind of built in with the living room. That's the kind of place they're staying at right now. So I don't know the difficulties the family's going through, but that's where she left. So that was the last place she was seen, was leaving the Red Roof Inn, and they caught her on camera. Well, they caught her on camera getting into a rental vehicle, okay? And so they tracked this rental, and the rental ended up belonging to a man named Kyle Lawrence out of Buffalo, New York. He's 43 years old. And Kyle, this isn't his first time, but before I tell you more about Kyle, I'm going to read to you this article from Yahoo News, okay? It says, FBI agents investigating the disappearance of an Ohio teenager have arrested a New York man who they claimed had previous interactions with the girl. According to police, the FBI took Kyle Lawrence into custody on Thursday, February 26, nearly 2 weeks after 16-year-old Madison Fields went missing. On February 13th, the Coleraine Township Police. Now that's the town that she went missing from. It's actually Coleraine Township. I've never heard of that town until now. So if you guys are familiar with that town or you live there, let me know. I do know it's like right outside of Cincinnati. Lawrence, who was 43 of Buffalo, New York, is accused of previously meeting with Fields in January and has not been charged directly with her disappearance, according to police. Now, I did a check on him. I did a background check. He was living in Cheektowaga. I'm familiar with Buffalo, actually. I was living in Buffalo for about a good year and a half. And I actually lived right on the borderline of East Buffalo and Cheektowaga. East Buffalo is considered like the hood. And then you have Cheektowaga, which is totally different. I literally lived right on the borderline. You walk up my house, you make a right, you can get shot. You make a left, you're fine and peaceful. So I was there for about a year before I moved down here to Florida. Actually, I went from Buffalo, then to New York City, then Florida. So he's from Cheektowaga area. Now it says, Lawrence, 43 of Buffalo, New York, is accused of previously meeting with Fields in January and has not been charged directly with her disappearance. So he actually met up with her once before in January. Instead of a federal criminal complaint obtained by U.S. Weekly charges, Lawrence with transportation with intent to engage in criminal SEX activity, travel with intent to engage in illicit SEX conduct, and transportation of child, and then you have the P word, porno, pornography. Well, there's some words I have to dance around. YouTube doesn't like a lot of words. They don't like the M word, as in that's why some of us say unalive. They don't like anything to do with kids, and they don't like anything really to do with SEX. They flag your video, or your video won't get spread to, the masses of people. So excuse me if I dance around some of these words. An attorney was not listed for Lawrence in the federal court records. According to charge documents, while Coleraine police, I hope I'm saying that town right, Coleraine police investigated Fields' disappearance, officers learned Fields had stayed with Lawrence at a Cincinnati hotel on January 31st. So she previously already stayed with him at a hotel at the end of January 31st. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Ohio said in February 27 news release of Lawrence's arrest, police became aware of the hotel stay, which happened about 2 weeks before Fields was last seen, after examining surveillance footage from the girl's home, according to federal prosecutors, because they caught her walking from the hotel or the motel, which is Red Roof Inn, and walking across the parking lot. After Lawrence's arrest, he acknowledged that he had spoken with Fields through Snapchat. So he doesn't mention sessions in here, but he does say that they communicated through Snapchat. And if you guys don't know what Snapchat is an app. You can send pictures back and forth. You can text message. And then what Snapchat will do is it deletes the messages or anything you guys send back and forth. It deletes it within 24 hours. But what a lot of people don't know is that Snapchat, even though it deletes from your phone, it doesn't delete from their cloud. So it's still there. Now, when Snapchat first came out, it used to delete everything. But Snapchat, I believe, was obtained by Meta or Facebook. I believe Facebook still owns Snapchat. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe Facebook purchased Snapchat a while ago. And once they purchased Snapchat, Facebook, they don't erase nothing. You can erase it, but they still have it. So they decided to keep everything still in the cloud. Lawrence advised that he communicated with the minor victim via Snapchat application on his cell phone and would use location services on that application to locate her when he picked her up. Now, Snapchat, you can turn on your location and it'll show like a little avatar of you at the correct location you are at. So if you use Snapchat and your location is on through Snapchat, other people who use Snapchat, who has you as a friend or add you or even follow you, can see exactly where you're at. That's another thing some people don't know about. According to prosecutors, Lawrence previously landed on the FBI's radar in May. Now here's where it gets, oh man, this guy was already on the FBI's radar, okay? Because back in May of 2024, a citizen vigilante group confronted him, guess where at? Canada. Okay. He traveled to Canada from Buffalo. Now, Buffalo and Canada, they're right there. You go through Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and the big bridge to cross over into the Niagara Falls, Canada, because there's Niagara Falls, New York, and Niagara Falls, Canada. It's like a 30-minute drive. It's not far at all. You can also cross from the Buffalo side too if you want. But so he drove, crossed the border, met up with another young girl, okay? It was a 15-year-old at that time in Canada, but he was set up. All right. He was set up by this vigilante group. So you have groups out here. If you ever seen the YouTube videos where they're posed as they're younger people and they set people up. And then when the people think they're coming to meet them, it's this group that pops out at you like, hey, now they're harassing, your face is on video. So he allegedly traveled and was going to have pretty much sex contact with a 15-year-old. FBI also discovered Lawrence was named in 2 online reports made to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in connection with his Snapchat account and alleged child exploitation, according to prosecutors. When agents served a search warrant at his Buffalo home on February 26, which is in Cheektowaga, they took his electronic devices and discovered child pictures, all right? And material that, you shouldn't be having. In the wake of Lawrence's arrest, the search for Fields continues. The Coleraine Township Police Department, which has vowed to continue working with FBI and Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations to follow up on every lead until this case is resolved. Fields was last seen on Harry Lee Lane around 4 p.m. February 13th, when she was wearing a black Champion brand sweatshirt, camouflage pants, black shoes, and had a black backpack, as well as a white grocery bag, according to police. That day, she asked if she could stay at a friend's house overnight. The FBI special agent wrote an affidavit in support of Lawrence's criminal complaint. Her parents agreed to a sleepover. Fields never returned home. The affidavit says attempts to call her went straight to voicemail. All right? So, he was already on the radar's list. His Snapchat account, okay, was already in the database for missing and exploited children, thanks to not just a Canada event, but he was using that same Snapchat account to contact other minors.
Arrested, appeared in federal court in New York State on federal exploitation charges. So we want to be clear here. Investigators still do not know where Madison Fields from our area is tonight. So yesterday, the FBI searched Lawrence's Buffalo home, found several instances of sex abuse material. Investigators think the illegal images showed the missing teenager. Lawrence telling agents he communicated with Madison, traveled to our area to Cincinnati 2 times to meet up with her January 19th and January 31st, New Year's Eve, taking her to hotels. January 31st, not New Year's Eve. Last seen on February 13th, facing charges of transportation with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, travel with intent to engage in illicit conduct, and transportation of child. The Ohio Attorney General's office is still listing Madison as endangered missing.
So the one thing the article did not mention is that, he had the pictures on his phone. Well, some of those pictures were of Madison. So when they searched his phone, Madison was on his phone. He had pictures of her. Now, they're not saying what type of pictures. They're not saying that, but he definitely had pictures of her. So she's seen getting into his rental car that he rented. And then she's seen, on his phone. And whatever hotel they were staying at, I'm pretty sure they probably have surveillance of her probably getting out of the car, going into the hotel room. Because most hotels, motels, whatever it is, they usually have some sort of surveillance, especially right by the front. If you have to drive by the front, they might not have surveillance, let's say, where the parking lot is, but they usually will have surveillance when they go to the front. So they probably have surveillance of him driving, to the hotel. And that's probably what they use to get him to confess, okay? Because a lot of people are probably watching this like, well, why would he even tell on himself? Well, they trick you. They do. They'll throw evidence at you, and then they kind of convince you to tell the truth with this evidence, thinking you're going to get a better deal, which in reality, no, you're not. You're just telling on yourself. So they probably told him, hey, or showed him, here's a picture of you. Here's the hotel room. Here's records of you renting another vehicle on January 31st. We went through your cell phone. We saw those pictures of her. And you notice he didn't say anything about sessions, but he said Snapchat. Because, like I told you, Snapchat really doesn't delete everything. So they might have that evidence and show them against him. Sessions does delete, okay? So since it's deleted, he might even know this and might not even be telling him he was talking through Sessions. But Snapchat's right there. So that's probably why he said, hey, I've been communicating with her, okay? But I don't know the full evidence. I don't know the full story. But what I do know, Madison Fields is still missing. So he was the last person seen with her. Every single case I have done, except for Nancy Guthrie, okay, which I'm gonna mention one thing. I'm gonna do another video on her. I have an update, okay? But every single video I have done, except for Nancy, the last person seen with whoever's been missing is usually always responsible for whatever happens to that person. Most of the time, when they find them, they're no longer alive. And it's usually always the last person seen with them. Now, I'm not saying Madison is no longer alive. I hope she's alive. I hope she's out there somewhere, okay? Hopefully, she maybe just wants to run away from home. You know, Madison, if you're seeing this, you can even contact me. My email's below. You know, hey, just to let people know that at least you're safe and, you know, nobody's mad at you, because I believe this is a grooming incident. This is definitely a grooming. This man's 43 years old, contacting younger individuals through social media accounts like Snapchat, okay? Things like Sessions. He already has a record of driving through the border to meet somebody, okay? So obviously this grown man has an issue. He's got a problem, and this problem is not going to go away. This is what his issue is, and it's probably not going to go away. So somebody like this, he probably needs to be locked up and thrown away the key. There's no fixing that. There isn't. But he was definitely grooming. He was trying to groom whoever. And I'm wondering if he's even responsible for maybe anybody else that's missing. Think about that. I'm actually going to look in Buffalo and Cheektowaga. I'm going to look in that area and see if there's anybody that's missing in that area that hasn't been found. You know what? And it just popped up. I'm gonna look and see, because if he has a record of doing this, then he might have a record of doing other things. So stay tuned. I'm gonna see if I can find something on, you know, on that. But everybody I have came across with that's been missing has always been the last person, like I said, except for Nancy. And I believe we're doing the search with Nancy all wrong. I believe it's all wrong. My next video, I'm going to tell you guys what we should be looking for. Everybody's looking for the suspect. I think we should ditch the suspect. We're not going to find a suspect in the mask. We need to ditch that. I'm going to tell you what we should be looking for instead. But Madison Fields is still out there. Please go home. Go home. All right? This is Fugitive TV. You guys have helped my channel get to over 20,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. So please like, subscribe, please share this video so this can be out there. There's more, there's people missing every single day, okay? So the news needs to put as much attention into other people as they did with Nancy. Now, I'm just saying, everybody should matter when it comes to their missing, especially a 16-year-old. She needs to be found. Needs to be back home with their family, whatever the case is. But thank you so much. So please like, subscribe. Please take care of one another. Look out, watch out for your surroundings. Fugitive TV merch below to the side, the Ray Marcel collection. Join the membership. I have membership videos, okay, where I do updates on cases, sometimes just for members, okay? So please like, subscribe. This is Fugitive TV. Take care of one another. I'm out.